Hey guys, Fathy here. Welcome to another edition of Fathy at Home. Well, we all have a favorite director, right? Spielberg, Kubrick, Hitchcock. Of course, of Reiner. But one of my favorite directors though is while he's thankfully not underrated, underrated. He's really good at the two things, at being both a director and once an actor. That director was Ron Howard. So what do I gotta say about Ron Howard? Well, let's start by going over what my favorite 10 performances are. These are going to be a list of either movies he's been in or directed. Okay. Parenthood. Man, now leave it to Ron Howard to make a movie about a family that ends up becoming despite being of all different backgrounds, comes together. And this is really such a touching movie that was also later adapted into a good TV show. My personal friend Steve Martin is actually in the movie, and ironically, my personal enemy, Dax Shepard, is on a TV show. Nah, I'm just messing. Dax Shepard seems like a real nice guy. Regardless, this I think is a movie that and a TV show that only a family man could write, and I thank Ron for it. The Paper. This is a really lesser known show, but it's a pretty good movie. It stars Michael Keaton. It stars Marissa Tomei, and this is kind of an underrated movie, but I'll tell you a little bit about it. First of all, let's start by going with the cast. In addition to Michael Keaton, it's got Glenn Close, Marissa Tomei. About when an editor at the New York Sun is facing financial cuts, his pregnant wife has to plead with him to get a more respectable job that can spend time with his family. And then this scoop leads him to a group of violence and conflict. Really funny movie, and definitely does good at showing what his work does. Richie Cunningham from Happy Days. Sorry, since I really just did this play, I'm not gonna go and bore you too much with this, but he did such a good job on this show, it was hard to look at him the same, and that's a compliment to him. Not only do you learn a lot about the 50s from this, but really you learn a lot about a simpler time. There's really a whole lot of stuff that really gets said about it, but there's really almost nothing you cannot like about this. And the Cocoon. Well, this isn't a personal favorite of mine. I gotta say, I do for the sequel to it. It wasn't a bad movie, and there is a lot of stuff it actually does right. I also think it's really good how all these older people were able to come together and make a movie that's pretty hilarious. This thankfully hasn't been forgotten too much, but while it couldn't gain a huge fan base, I think it's really worth knowing that this would be a free with new people. And yeah, I'd like to see Wilford Brimley and Elaine Stritz reprise their roles. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Some people consider, whether you consider this a great adaptation of Dr. Seuss, or like you consider this a horrible holiday movie, or you consider this a guilty pleasure, what two things I think you could agree on is Jim Carrey was great as bringing the book character to life, and Ron Howard did a good job at directing. It's also really good, like at knowing that a fun fact is like during his speech scene, Jim Carrey is actually wearing Ron's hat. Was a pretty laughable moment, and there's really just a reason why I really was hoping that Ron Howard would come back for the Cat in the Hat. And while I do enjoy the movie The Cat in the Hat, this one definitely isn't the same, but it'll do. But thankfully we had a Grinch, and I hope like that we'll get like a better version of the CGI coming next year. Winthrop Peru from The Music Man. Man, whenever I see Ron Howard singing like Gary, Indiana, or the Wells Fargo Wagon, it always brings a little bit of tears to my eyes. And I also really like get a little bit choked up about seeing like how the ways that Harold Hill becomes like close to Winthrop and what the difference is. This is like a really good film and a really good musical, and so I wasn't in my theater troupe at the time we did this. If we ever did it again, it would be great. And while I'm hoping the next play will be The Addams Family, I wouldn't mind doing this as a second choice.
Is there anything else that you would
Steve from American Graffiti. Man, it's like, so I really like all the cast equally, and they all really did good. There's two characters I related to more than anything. I related a lot to Steve, and I related a lot to Bob. There's really no reason not to like this film. And like this whole supporting cast of Cindy Williams, Richard Dreyfuss, Harrison Ford, and Candy Clark, the film is a delight to watch, and well, there's really no reason like not to like it. Arrested Development. Man, this is it's hard to believe I didn't watch this show when it was on. It was really it's really a fantastic show, and I really end up laughing every time it's on. It's also really good, like how like this showed Ron turning from directing movies to TV shows, and did a damn good job of succeeding. If I think it'll ever do, nothing else ever does as good as this, I know it'll be it. A Beautiful Mind and Apollo 13. Why am I giving these things a tie? Well, both are really good in their own way, but like both are also good like for what a unique story is. A Beautiful Mind is really a touching story about like this mathematician, this real life guy who sadly since then passed on, named John Forbes, and like it's really a wonderful story about how even somebody with some mental conditioning goes far. Apollo 13, of course, is about a group of astronauts who go into space, and the fact of how realistic it looks, they really do a good job. Sorry to disagree with people who complain that Babe lost to it, but I could really understand that complaint. And at number 1,
You're making this
Opie from the Andy Griffith Show. And the one that I most notably associate with Swan is like the second of Richie from Happy Days with Soapy. This always makes me think whenever he's in the episode, Andy and the real Andy Griffith and Ron must have been close, because the relationship between them on camera, I really just don't think like that can be all acting. It's also a really interesting scene about how like Ron does such a good job, yet you almost end up believing he's really Andy's son. Even when he got older, he was not a character who was overused, unlike several characters on TV shows. And but the thing I think that really gets me is like the episodes that have Opie as main character are some of the best ones. Really like it and think I could turn to them. Okay, well, so thank you guys so much for watching. Arrivederci.